Have you ever felt that hot, prickly feeling of jealousy? Maybe a coworker got the promotion you wanted, or a friend seemed to get all the breaks. It's a common human emotion, but have you ever stopped to think just how dangerous it can be if left unchecked? What if I told you that the very first murder in human history, according to ancient texts, wasn't the result of a grand battle or a political conspiracy, but started with a single, simple feeling of jealousy? Today, we're going to dive deep into the story of two brothers, Cain and Abel, and uncover how one wrong feeling spiraled into a tragedy that has echoed through millennia. This isn't just an old story. It's a profound lesson about the darkness that can lurk within the human heart and the critical importance of mastering our own emotions before they master us. The story begins in a world that was still brand new, just outside the gates of Eden. Adam and Eve had two sons, Cain and Abel. Cain, the older brother, became a farmer, a tiller of the ground. He worked the soil, planting seeds and waiting for the harvest. But later, Scripture suggests the difference was in the heart and the quality of the offering. God then gives Cain one of the most powerful and chilling warnings in all of literature. He could feed his anger and let his jealousy consume him. Tragically, Cain chose the latter. He ignored the divine warning. The simmer turned into a boil. Cain rose up against his brother Abel and killed him. God's voice returned, but this time the tone was different. He asked Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" It wasn't a question because God didn't know the answer. It was a question to give Cain one last chance to confess, to show remorse. But Cain's heart had hardened completely. He replied with one of the most infamous lines ever spoken. "I don't know, am I my brother's keeper?" The arrogance, the defiance, the coldness of that response is shocking. Yes, Cain, you are your brother's keeper. That's what family, what humanity is supposed to be about. By his own words, he condemned himself, revealing the depth of his fall. Then God delivers the verdict. "What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground." The consequences were severe. Cain was cursed from the earth, which would no longer yield its crops for him. He was to become a restless wanderer on the earth, forever alienated from his home, his family, and his vocation. The punishment wasn't death, but a life of exile and torment. Cain finally seemed to grasp the enormity of his crime, crying out, "My punishment is more than I can bear." He was afraid that whoever found him would kill him. But God, in a final act of complicated mercy, put a mark on Cain so that no one would kill him, preserving his life but forcing him to live with what he had done. He was forced to wander, a living monument to the consequences of unchecked jealousy and anger. So, what does this ancient, tragic story teach us today? It's a powerful ladder of escalation. It shows how a single negative emotion, left unaddressed, can grow. Jealousy became anger. Anger, when it wasn't mastered, festered into hatred. And hatred, when given the opportunity, exploded into murder. The story of Cain is a timeless warning that the most destructive forces in the world often begin as small, manageable feelings inside our own hearts. God's warning to Cain is a warning to all of us. Sin is crouching at your door, but you must rule over it. We all have these crouching beasts, moments of envy, flashes of anger, feelings of bitterness. They knock on our door every day. The question is, what do we do when they appear? Do we ignore them, pretending they aren't there? Do we feed them, justifying our anger and nursing our grudges? Or do we follow the advice given to Cain? Do we acknowledge the feeling, look it in the eye, and say, "No, you don't control me. I will rule over you"? Mastering our emotions isn't about pretending we don't have them. It's about recognizing them for what they are: dangerous potentials, making a conscious choice to act from a place of reason, compassion, and self-control, rather than letting raw emotion drive us to a place of regret. The story of Cain and Abel is a dark chapter, but its lesson is a light that can guide us. It reminds us to be our brother's keeper, and just as importantly, to be the keeper of our own heart. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to explore more timeless stories that hold deep lessons for our modern lives, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, take care.